Hello everybody, this is Ryan here with Techakids, and we'd like to give you an example of how we're doing our restaurant in terms of looking at the expenses and our profit report. So here we are at Google Sheets, and as you can see here, we have our fixed expenses here, the amount of quantity, the per hour, per day, hours per day, and per week, and also per month. So in this example, we're going to look at how many staff we have. I didn't look at the owner yet, as you are the owner, but we do have one manager here, as you can see, earning $20 an hour, working $8 hours a day, and earning $150 per day, and then per week and per month. So I'd like to show you this calculation right here. You see that there's 116. This is how I calculated it. You go to the summation right here, and what you can do is the amount and get the multiplication symbol, which is the shift 8 or star, and then go to the per hour, and then also multiply that per how many hours a day. You click on that, you get $160. So you can see here, this is the code or the calculation that made it $160. It was C10, as you can see here, it's C and 10 multiplied by D10, D10, which is $20, and then multiplied by E10, which is $8. Okay, so that's how that was done. And per week, what I did was you basically do the same thing. You put the sigma sign right here, the function, and then in my calculation, I did F10, which is the $160 per day, multiply that by 7 days. So you can see there that I multiplied it by 7 days, which will give you the $1,120 per week earned by your manager. And then per month, as you can already tell, that it's going to be F10. Okay, so again, it's F10. It's how many, how much they earn per 8-hour shift, multiplied by 30 days. Okay, there's the 30 days per month, and that's how you come up with 4,800. You do this the same thing with the chef, you know, with 8 hours and so forth. Now the trick here in Excel or in Google Sheets is this calculation here. You can actually copy and paste. You can Command C or Control C, or you can right click copy. Okay, that's gonna copy the calculation, and this is a shortcut to calculating the other parts. And you can go in here and you can say right click and paste. So if you push return, it basically copies you the F12, which is this, multiplied by 30. Okay, so if it's a little bit confusing, don't worry about that copy and paste function. But basically, you can see that the F10 right here is multiplied by 30, and then here, the F12, okay, which is this part right here, is also multiplied by 30. And then here down below, I calculated the rent. I calculated at $5,000. And then I went backwards and divided on this number, how many per week. I divided H24, okay, that's H24 divided by 4 because it's divided by 4 weeks. And then per day, it's the same thing. It's H21, this is the H21 right here, divided by 30 days. Okay, then you'll get how many per day. Other expenses I did was the food purchased. I capped that around $2,000 in terms of, you know, buying whatever you purchased in terms of your grocery. And then this one is kind of key here. Okay, so how are we gonna know? Because what I did was I actually added all our expenses here on red, all these things right here, okay, from this part to that part, and I added all those, and this is what I came up with. So you can see here in this calculation here that 28,000 I calculate from F4. Okay, remember this is, well, it's starting here, F4 all the way, no, so what I did was actually on this part I calculated F4, which is this, times 30. Okay, and that's times 30. I can also do it the other way, which I showed earlier, which is actually adding all this, which will also add to that. The food sold, we said that on this example I sold 95 orders, maybe a meal, which averaged $10 per order. And so per day you would be getting in your cash register supposedly $950. Multiplied by that 7, it's right here, F34 times 7, you come up with around 6,600. Multiply that each day. Right here's the calculation. F34 multiplied by 30 days, that's 28,000. So how are you going to find out your profit margin? You basically, in this calculation right here, see this profit right here, what I did was in this one, again, sigma sign, and you can see it's H34, which is 28,500 minus H4. Where is H4? H4 is all the way up here. That's H4. You come out with $220 in profit for the month. Now, this is the cool part about Sheets and also Excel, is you can actually change any of these variation, and you will see that it will automatically calculate for you all these things as long as you do this properly. So let's do this. Let's say you had a bad month and you only sold 50 a day. Okay, 50 meals a day at 10 bucks. See how this will change. At 50, remember we had it before at 94? Check it out. Boom. You're down $13,000 in loss. See that negative right there? That's what you don't want as a business. You want it to be positive. So let's say at 95, we had it at 95. Let's say you really worked hard and you sold 200 meals a day at 10 bucks each. And let's see how much this profit margin will be. Boom. $31,000 in profit. So you can play around with this. When I put 95 right here, you can see that I'm almost breaking even, meaning that whatever I spent on my expenses were for my staff, utilities and rent and other business expenses right here. And I also had the food purchase. I sold 95 a day. I would just barely get $220. If I put this at 94 meals a day, check it out, it goes down to -80. So in order to be profitable in this business, you have to have at least get 95 people to buy your average meal of $10. Okay, so that's it for our Excel sheet in calculating your restaurant, and you can use this for any other business that we have starting here at Techakids, where you can actually see all this information. Just change it around. Let's say you want to have 4 more servers, right? So right now we're only 220, right? I changed it to 4 more servers, earning 13 bucks an hour, 8 hours a day. Check it out. At 4 servers, I'm negative 2,900 because I added that one staff. So I'm gonna lay off that staff or fire that staff or whatnot. If I lay off that staff because I'm not profitable, I can go back into being profitable at $220 a day. All right, that's about it. I'll talk to you later.